Good morning again, everybody. We are going to get started in 1 minute's time, so sit tight and we'll be live in 1 minute.
Good morning and welcome to the November 2nd Pitt County Board of County Commissioners meeting. I will turn this meeting over to our chairman, Mr. Melvin McLaughlin.
Good morning. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good. Countdown day to election. This is a very important day. So welcome everybody. Those of you who haven't seen in a while, welcome to Board of Commissioners meeting the day before the election. At this time, we'd like to call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk.
Yes, good morning. Chairman McLaughlin.
Here.
Vice Chairman Colson.
Here.
Commissioner Albright.
Here.
Commissioner Floyd Huggins.
Here.
Commissioner Nunnally.
Here.
Commissioner Ward.
Present.
Commissioner White.
Here.
Commissioner Perkins Williams. Commissioner Perkins Williams.
I answered. You didn't hear me. Something must be wrong.
Okay, I hear you now. Thank you. Everybody is present with the exception of Commissioner Fitzpatrick.
And we need to make an exception and ask for his absence to be excused. He notified me and the chairman who would not be able to make it this morning.
At this time, could we get a motion to excuse Commissioner Fitzpatrick?
We have a hand up from Commissioner Nunnally and Commissioner Floyd Huggins.
Commissioner Nunnally.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Move to excuse Commissioner Fitzpatrick.
Thank you.
Second that motion.
Has been moved and properly second. Madam Clerk?
Yes, Chairman McLaughlin.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Colson.
Yes.
Commissioner Albright.
Yes.
Commissioner Floyd Huggins.
Yes.
Commissioner Nunnally.
Yes.
Commissioner Ward.
Yes.
Commissioner White.
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you very much. At this time, we shall have an invocation and pledge by our manager, Scott Elliott. Thank you, kind Father, for this day and for life, health, and strength. Grant us your wisdom as we attend to the business of your people. We pray this in thy holy name. Amen.
Amen.
And this flag, please.
To the flag of the United
United
States.
States of America, and to the republic
Republic for which it
which
stands,
stands
one
one
nation,
Nation.
under God,
God.
indivisible,
Indivisible.
with liberty and
nation,
justice for all.
At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, before we entertain a motion, the town of Grifton has requested that the item under decision for the transfer of property to the town of Grifton. We received an email from the town manager this weekend. Several of their board members would like to further discuss this, and they plan on putting this matter of the transfer of these FEMA properties to the town on their board agenda this month, and we will bring it back at the appropriate time. So we could take that off the agenda for today's meeting.
Okay, what item would that be?
Under items for decision, number 1.
Okay, very good. We have a motion to delete that from the agenda.
We have hands up by Commissioner Nunley and Commissioner Floyd Huggins.
Commissioner Nunley?
Mr. Chair, thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to approve the agenda with the exception that we remove item 1 from items of decision, transfer of property to the town of Grifton.
Thank you, Commissioner Floyd Huggins.
Second,
Has been moved and properly second.
Chairman, you did have a hand up, Commissioner White. I didn't know if she wanted to speak or if she was trying to second the motion.
Commissioner White, in fact.
No, I was just going to make a motion or a second.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk?
Chairman McLaughlin,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Colson,
Yes.
Commissioner Albright,
Yes.
Commissioner Floyd Huggins,
yes.
Commissioner Nunley,
Yes.
Commissioner Ward,
Yes.
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins Williams. Commissioner Perkins Williams.
Yes, I said, I must need to turn.
Motion
something up
passes
'cause I said it
unanimously.
3 times.
Thank you. Now I have the presentation, recognition of Eagle Scouts. Scott, please.
Mr. Chairman, board members, this morning we have 4 Boy Scouts who are local Boy Scouts here in Pitt County who have earned the rank of Eagle. And normally in a pre-COVID environment, we'd have them here with their Scoutmaster family and friends to be recognized for this achievement within the Boy Scouts of America. However, we will do this virtually and present these certificates to each one. I'll read one certificate so the public knows what we're presenting. So certificate of appreciation is awarded to the first one is to Thomas Brand for his achieving the Eagle Scout Award. And for his particular project, he built a professional GAG ball court at the Alice Keene Center. It's presented by the Pitt County Board of Commissioners the 2nd day of November 2020 and signed by our chairman, Mr. Melvin McLaughlin. And we did want to point out our first Eagle Scout earning recipient is the son of Ken Brand in our engineering department here in Pitt County. So as your first one. Your second one is Parker Upchurch. For his project, he constructed a new playground at the First Christian Church. Your third one to Landon Reynolds. He completed an upstairs makeover at the SUMC, which is a United Methodist Church. I'm not sure what the S stands for, but SUMC. And your last one for Daniel Williams, he built cabinets and changing tables at Holly Roads Crossing Church. So those are the 4 certificates. And if the board would make a motion to send a letter and certificate to each one of those, we will make sure that's carried out.
Okay, at this time, a motion is in order.
Hand up by Commissioner White
Commissioner White,
and another hand up by Commissioner Nunley.
I'd like to make a motion.
and thank you. Commissioner Nunley
Second that.
has been moved and properly second. Madam Clerk?
Chairman McLaughlin,
Yes.
Vice Chair Colson,
Yes.
Commissioner Albright,
Yes.
Commissioner Floyd Huggins,
Yes.
Commissioner Nunley,
Yes.
Commissioner Ward,
Yes.
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you very much. At this time, we'll move to the public address to the board. Mr. Manager, you have any sign up?
Yes, sir. We have one person signed up virtually. We have Roberta Bonnie Bonnet. And the county attorney will read our brief statement on public addresses.
Yes, good morning. Pitt County welcomes comments on all matters of public concern. Please state your name and address before speaking, and I will keep your time at 3 minutes per speaker.
So if we can get Ms. Bonnet unmuted.
This is Roberta Bonnet, and I just wanted to add to my last notes on glass recycling. One of my neighbors has started a petition basically stating that we would be, or that whoever signs the petition is willing to separate glass from other recyclables. It's being circulated both via the internet and in paper. I don't have the number of recipients yet, or number of signers. I know it's over 105 at the moment, but I don't know how many have signed on paper. So I just wanted to add that to my last comments.
Thank you very much, Mr. Barnett. Appreciate that. Items for report. Mr. Adams Sullivan.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, you have the ABC report. If Mr. Sullivan will come forward. And Mr. Sullivan is the recently new ABC administrator appointed by the ABC board, and we'd like to welcome him and have this introduction and a brief report by him. He has his board chair, Max Joyner, in the room, and assistant director, David Byram.
Welcome.
Where to look?
You can look at us, or you can look into that camera, either way.
All right, so this is a first for me. I apologize. I actually brought a handout for everybody, but everybody's not here. So Kimberly will have it in your packet. So I'm Adam Sullivan, the new general manager for the ABC board. Started October of last year. I was asked to come give a brief report, a little bit about myself. I did 8 years of sales in the liquor industry. I ran Beaufort County for 1 year and have since come over to Pitt County. Special thanks to board members that aren't here but are here, Ms. Huggins, Mr. Fitzpatrick, and Mr. Colson. That's that. About last year's ABC sales. Last year we did a little under 20 million. That was a little under 3 million increase from fiscal year 19. That was retail sales. Mixed beverage, we did 2.8 million. Mixed beverage is bars and restaurants business. That was down 786,000 from previous year. The next slide that y'all don't have actually puts those numbers in a chart. For the year, our gross sales were up 11%. The next slide was about profit distributions to the county. By statute, we were supposed to give $643,319. We gave an additional $856,681. So we distributed $1.5 million to the county. Total distributions to the county were the 1.5 million plus our beverage price support, which was $67,418. Total distributions, $1,567,418. A few of the highlights from last fiscal were our revenues increasing by almost 2.2 million. Our distributions outside of what was given to the county, we distributed 35,000 to East Carolina, 10,000 to the Pitt County Sheriff's Office for their SHARP program, 35,000 to the SAD program, 15,000 to Vidant's Teen Safe Driving Initiative, and $130,168 to Pitt County Mental Health. As far as our side of the business, we moved our 10th Street store from its old location to beside the food line on 10th Street at University Square. That increased the size of our store by about 2,500 square feet. We have recently closed our Bethel location. And in turn, we opened up a new store on the north side of the river on Easy Street. We put in all new POS systems in December of last year. We hired me. We also hired a new office manager. We have added another law enforcement personnel, and in buy-ins, we saved right at $300,000. Highlights from the first quarter of this year. Fiscal year 20, same quarter, we did $4,957,668. So far this year, first quarter, we did $6,404,629. So far, we've distributed $375,000 to the county. The beverage price support, we've given another $17,709. And we have updated some security cameras within our system. This year, we've got quite a few things lined up for capital improvements. First thing being our Memorial Drive location. We want to demolish and rebuild on the same site. We're expected to award that bid in December with anticipated completion date October, November of next year. We're also looking to remodel the Aiden store. Since we've closed the Grifton location a couple years ago, we've seen an influx of customers at that store. So we're going to bring it up to date. We're planning to do that early 2021, and it's probably a 2 to 3 week renovation. We are looking at potentially moving our Farmville location. That's in the works. We're looking at either going to the bypass or to the 264 business side. And across the county, the security cameras that need updating, we are planning to do that. That's all I got. If there's any questions, I'm more than happy to answer.
I want to thank you, Mr. Spot. I want to tell you that we would certainly appreciate your fine work, and we look forward to your continuous involvement in making sure that the county gets the necessary finances that we've been getting from you all in the past. You've been very kind to us, and we look forward to it. Your board members can certainly attest to that. Your Memorial Drive location that you mentioned, undergoing remodeling, would that store be open while it's undergoing the remodeling for customers, or what would happen to that while it's being?
No, sir. It's going to be a complete demolition of the current site. With us opening the new store on Easy Street, and we have the store on Central Park in Winterville, Arlington, and we got one on 10th Street. So I feel like we're aligned to meet the customer's needs, but it's going to be a complete demo and rebuild. So that location will be closed for 10 to 12 months.
Oh, okay. Ms. Manager, you have any other hands for question?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have Commissioner Floyd Huggins has her hand up.
Commissioner Floyd Huggins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, Adam. I want to say that that Adam is doing a great job. We're glad to have him here in Pitt County. But Adam, explain to the board the contribution to East Carolina. What that is? What you said? We gave we donated to East Carolina. So explain that.
All right, so I wasn't here for last year's donation, hence the reason I brought Max and David. If they could answer exactly what the program was, I'm not 100% sure because that was distributed before my time.
Don't a certain amount of funds go to Trillium for rehab purposes too?
Yes.
Education. Yeah, it's all alcohol education and rehabilitation. I wasn't sure if they had any particular programming that they had in. So it's the college alcohol program that they run all freshmen through.
That's what I wanted you to say. I didn't want the board or the public to think that we were just giving to East Carolina University. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, there's no other hands up at this time. Well, Commissioner Perkins Williams has her hand up now.
Commissioner Perkins Williams.
How much was that? I
Pardon
missed that one. I did catch some of them, but I missed that
35,000.
Thank you.
Any other hands, Ms. Manager?
No, sir.
Very good. Again, Ms. Adam Sullivan, thank you and welcome. And we look forward to a continuous relationship with you and your board. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For sure. At this time, we have Dr. Silvernail, Public Health Director.
All right. There's nothing to report to motion. Yeah.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. Want to update you on our Pitt County status with COVID-19. As of this morning, we have accumulated 6,331 cases in total. We estimate that 5,787 of those cases have recovered. That would raise our percentage of recovered to 91.4% of individuals have recovered. At this point in time, we estimate there are 503 active cases in Pitt County, or about 2.7 cases per 1,000 Pitt County residents. Unfortunately, we have accumulated 41 deaths in Pitt County. And again, I want to express my sincere condolences to those families who have lost family members to COVID-19. The percentage of our tests returning positive at this time is at 5.8. That's not an all-time low, but almost an all-time low. I believe our lowest has been 5.7. We are currently sort of oscillating around 6.0 as a percentage of positivity, sometimes a little below, sometimes a couple of tenths of a point above. That is a full percentage point lower than where we were in the spring when we were oscillating around 7% positivity. I'd like to walk you through the state data on the state website. I'm going to show you the state curves first. There we go. This is total cases by date of report. And I would caution you to sometimes looking at date of report, the date of report is often lagged, and we're seeing that especially with the antigen cases now. There seems to be a delay in reporting of antigen cases. The yellow line is a 7-day rolling average trend line. If we look at this by date of collection, that dip is not so deep, and we see that we are in another rise here. In my mind, I think we are on the plateau. Again, and these are the undulations of a so-called flattened curve. I'm going to switch to the Pitt County view, and we can look at the Pitt County data briefly. Where are we, Pitt County? There we go. This is our Pitt County curve. Go back, I'll show you this by date of report first. And again, as I mentioned before, data glitch, nursing home, onset of our testing, ECU bubble. We did have one day here. We're not really sure why we had 107 cases that day. That's around the time that the Vidant testing site opened. So sometimes we see a surge when we open a testing site, and then we've sort of flattened out. And I'd like to think maybe trending down a little bit. But again, I think when you look at this by data collection, you see that this is really pretty level with the superimposed ECU spike. And I would argue that we are on the plateau of a flattened curve. Again, maybe trailing off a little bit here at the end of that. Looking at the distribution of cases, there are some reassuring things in this. The 0 to 17 age group, which represents the bulk of the children in the Pitt County school system, has remained flat at 8%. Our young adult 18 to 24-year-old age group, which is predominantly our college age students, may catch a few high school seniors in that. At one point was over 40%. That's come down a little bit to 35%. Our next largest group is the other sort of young to middle-aged adults, 25 to 49, 32%. Unfortunately, the older age group, which represents only 4% of our cases, does represent the majority of our fatalities. And I'm going to switch that to the death view very briefly. You can see we have not had a death below the age of 50 in Pitt County, and 54% of our fatalities have come from the 75 and older age group, which represents only 4% of our cases. If I were to calculate an age-adjusted death rate for this group, it would be about 8.5% if you're over 75. Testing, show you. State puts our testing numbers out across the state. If we come down to our county and look at our county, you can see that we are at 5.8% this morning in our percentage of positivities, which I think is very encouraging. Moving on to testing, as mentioned in my previous reports, testing remains broadly available across Pitt County. Per the North Carolina Electronic Disease Surveillance System, we estimate that more than 4,000 individuals in Pitt County are tested every week, with more testing coming. We are close to standing up another testing site in Pitt County with the help of state and federal Department of Health and Human Services. We have signed an agreement with Sycamore Hill Church. Thank you, Commissioner Floyd Huggins, for the suggestion to use them as a testing site and also as a vaccination site. Reverend Alexander is eager to partner with public health on community projects such as this. We also at the health department received an allotment of COVID-19 antigen tests, specifically the Abbott Binax Now antigen test, which can be used for rapid turnaround in symptomatic individuals. We have provided some of these to the ECU Student Health Service to aid in their testing efforts on campus, and have provided some to the Pitt County Detention Center to aid with rapid diagnosis of detainees in the detention center. Mentioning indirect COVID-19 health effects, we knew that there was a deficit in student immunizations across Pitt County schools. At one point, we estimated that to be as high as 1,800 individuals who are behind on immunizations. Thanks to the efforts of local pediatricians and the health department, we believe that number to now be somewhere between 700 and 800 students. That deadline has been extended by the state until December 1st, and there is a 30-day grace period. So in effect, it is through the end of the year for these children to update their vaccinations. A similar number of students remain behind on well child checks. Again, we estimate somewhere in that 700 to 800 range. And again, thankful to local pediatricians and to our child health staff at the health department, we've been able to bring that number down. At the health department, we still stand with 22 vacancies. We do have some interviews this week for nursing positions, MOA positions, and one of our provider positions. I will mention that on the 16th, for your meeting on the 16th, my Deputy Director, Amy Haddam, will be here to provide an update to you. I have an overlapping commitment that night, and we had to kind of divide and conquer. So she's going to come here, and I'm going to handle the other commitment, which was made in error over the meeting. So sorry for that neglect. Happy to take your questions at this time.
Thank you very much, Dr. Silvernail. Any question, Mr. Manager? Hand in hands.
This time, unless any commissioners have any questions. Commissioner Perkins Williams has her hand up.
Dr. Silvernail, I'm curious because sometime before I asked about testing at Triumph, which is about 15 miles from here, why most of your testing sites are within, or have you looked outside of the city limit so that people testing far away wouldn't have to drive so far who are concerned about being tested? Did you consider that?
We do. We try to find a central location, Commissioner. So the Sycamore Hill seemed to be in a central location and near the marginalized populations in that area. So we chose to use that site. We certainly are open to consider other sites for testing and vaccination projects.
My question dealt with, did you look at the outlying areas? Because people from Grifton and Fountain and Pactolus, the Clark Next area, would travel anywhere from 15 or more, Clark Next or more than that, areas. And we had talked about, I talked about it with Brighton, and they said that they were not opening any more testing sites. So I wonder, did you consider checking with other places in outlying areas beyond the city of Greenville? Do you understand what I'm talking about?
Yes, ma'am. And we have considered those sites in our summer testing. We did rotate around the county. That is a very labor intensive process, a very resource demanding process. And we felt it was best with this site to be in one location rather than mobile, as it imposes a burden on our emergency management department to move that site on a day-to-day basis.
Let me ask you another question. How many sites are available now? Just so that
In the
the
county?
communities will know in the county.
Mm-hmm. Our site is up and running. We have open testing on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The Vidant Health site on Wellness Drive, which is by the former Wellness Center, is open daily from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. weekdays, and they have talked about adding weekend testing. ECU Physicians has drive-up testing at, I think it's their Moy Boulevard location. Physicians East has done drive-up testing at their urgent care center on Arlington, and also I believe at their main building on the other end of Arlington. Vidant Family Medicine has testing. Many of our urgent cares are doing testing. There are 3 CVS locations, including one in Farmville, one in Winterville, and one in Greenville that are doing testing, as well as most of the pediatrician's office are doing both rapid point of care testing and sending out PCRs as needed. So testing is very broadly available throughout the community.
Well, my question dealt with, I think Farmville is the only one outside of the city of Greenville. Is that correct?
No, there's one in Winterville, ma'am.
Well, I consider Winterville like Greenville is so close in proximity. But when you are looking at the outer edge of the county, and I just wanted the citizen to know that that the county provides services mostly within the city of Greenville. And if you live outside of the city of Greenville, you're going to still have to stretch your budget and drive farther because of the nearsightedness of what we need to do to reach and assist people who are underprivileged and poverty stricken. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more hands, Mr. Manager?
Yes, Commissioner Albright.
Commissioner Albright.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Dr. Silvernell, for the report and for all of your work and your staff's work. You mentioned that that we were doing about 4,000 a week in testing. I think before we've been hearing how well that stacks up against the state. And I wondered if you could comment on the relationship between what we're doing testing and what's recommended.
Sure, Commissioner. The state recommends that we test on a monthly basis about 5% of our population, which would be approximately 9,200 individuals. When I look at the 4 to 5 weeks that would comprise a month here in the county, we are testing over 20,000 individuals in a month. So we are more than doubling the state recommendation on testing in Pitt County at this time.
That's what I thought, and I appreciate that your assistance in keeping us a leader in the East. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other hands, Mr. Manager?
No, sir, not this time.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Silvernell, and ask that you continue to keep up the fine work and and we will talk to you again. Thank you. At this time, we have John Demery and Mr. John Coward for the Pitt County Solid Waste.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Here to give you a little bit of update on recycling and what we're doing to try to correct our challenges that we have in front of us. Contamination within the recyclables has increased from about 7% in 2009 to over 30% this past year, or this year, 2020. Contamination cost the county an additional tipping fee to send this material to the regional landfill.
John, is your PowerPoint here?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And I'm sorry about that. There we go. Sorry about that. Current curbside recycling, which is a major contributor to contamination, is being evaluated for all municipalities. Another challenge for us is the commodity markets. Over the past few years, markets have shifted due to a number of reasons, such as China being much more restrictive on contamination levels, as well as markets becoming saturated, causing a reduction in the price of materials. So we thought we would start a campaign for Pitt's sake, Let's Recycle Right. Our campaign is to educate the public. Pitt County Solid Waste and Recycling mailed out postcards to every resident, every residential address, providing information regarding the limited recyclable materials we started to take July 1st. Pitt County Solid Waste and Recycling has provided information for municipalities to utilize and update their websites and other information to the public. All websites and promotional and educational information needs to be consistent with the new recyclable items we are collecting. Pitt County Solid Waste and Recycling is working on a television ad. I thought we would have that for you today, but it's not quite ready, and has plans to use other media ads such as billboards, radio. We've done a lot of signage. If you see any of our roll-off trucks, we've got signage on our roll-off trucks and other means to educate the public on the new materials that we're taking. This is a picture of the brochure, or the mailer that went out. The items we are taking now, beginning July 1st, are plastic water, soda bottles, juice bottles, milk and detergent bottles. Paper, under paper, we're taking newspaper, office paper, and cardboard. The cardboard is your double wall cardboard. We're also taking metal cans, both aluminum and metal cans. And those are the items that we're taking in all our programs currently. This is the brochure that we have out right now that we've provided to the municipalities to update their brochures. This is a brochure on our convenience sites, where they're located. Again, a picture of the materials that we're taking. And this is in there, and also other items that we take besides our curbside, or our what I call residential recyclables. Glass bottles has been, as you know, we've had some people talk about glass bottle recycling. The reason glass bottle recycling was removed from the current collection methods, curbside and the county, is when, mainly in the curbside program, when the glass bottles are put in with all the other commingles and is picked up by a truck, and once that material is compacted, the glass breaks and therefore it causes contamination to the other materials. We're not saying that glass bottles aren't recyclable. It's just in the method that we were collecting them, it was causing more problems with the other items that we were recycling. So that's kind of the reason we removed the glass bottle from our current program. Glass bottles are recyclable, but need to be collected in a single stream collection system, which is collecting only one or collecting just the glass bottles. Solid Waste and Recycling is implementing a single stream collection option for glass bottle recycling currently. A single stream glass bottle collection program can be accomplished by adding containers to all or several of the convenience sites. Citizens then would have to drop off their glass bottles in the designated containers. Once the containers are full, then the material would be hauled to Strategic Materials, which is a glass recycling facility located in Wilson, North Carolina. I have been in touch with Strategic Materials. That's where the glass was going that we were recycling last year from ECVC, and have been in contact with them. And it's possible that that we could receive about $20 a ton for this material. There also would be a cost of between $10 and $20 a ton to transport that material to Wilson. Solid Waste and Recycling is considering applying for a grant to purchase containers, which would require a 25% match from the county. So our recommendation is to direct us, get you to direct the staff to apply for the glass bottle recycling grant and further develop a single stream glass bottle recycling program for Pitt County. And I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Mr. Chairman, I'll hand it for Commissioner Albright and Commissioner Colson, Commissioner Nunley.
Okay, it's all right.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Demery, for the report and for all your efforts for us. I hope that to encourage you to continue to investigate and to, as quickly as possible, get some kind of single stream recycling method for glass at all of the sites. And I also, it would seem like we wouldn't want to spend a lot of money on brochures and advertising until we get this issue resolved. I very much hope that we can resolve this glass issue. We can get it into single stream. And until we can work out curbside, that we can get some sites set up as quickly as possible with or without the grant to start taking single stream glass that's been cleaned by consumers. I appreciate, again, all your work towards this. So I would move that we go forward with your recommendation and we move forward as quickly as possible.
Thank you very much. Ms. Copeland?
You are unmuted.
Well, if that was a motion by just made, then I'll second it. But the question I have is, why did we years ago go to commingling instead of separating glass and newspaper and stuff? I mean, it wasn't that many years ago that we used to do that.
True. And the thing is, we kind of, and when I say we, everybody in the United States, we started recycling. Single stream was the way we were doing it. The cost in single stream versus collecting it commingled and operating a MRF, such as what East Carolina ECVC does for us. And so that's it. The trend went from single stream collection to commingled collection and separated in a MRF.
John, you may have said this too, but municipalities are driving that when they also went from the totes on the side of the street for recyclables to the automatic trucks.
Correct.
That drove.
Correct. You can use the same kind of truck for collection and a commingled. What I mean is you can pick up your garbage one day with it and recyclables. The next day, you don't, in the single stream, if you had 5 or 6 totes, you're going to have a truck that you put that material in. So it was cheaper and more efficient to go to the single stream.
But one of the issues,
To the commingle.
yeah, one of the issues was when you had the 20-gallon tote sitting on the curb and the municipal employee picked that up, they looked at it. If it was contaminated, they could have left it there. Now with the 95, 98-gallon blue recycling container, the driver can't even see the contents of the container. They come, the arms go out, they lift up in the air, it dumps into the recycling truck that day, and they have no idea what contamination level that is. Under the old method, at least the person picking it up could
Correct.
visually look in there and choose to whether to pick it up or to leave it. So contamination is being driven primarily by
the way we're collecting.
Yeah.
A number of communities that have,
You are unmuted.
they're pulling out the glass and doing glass single stream.
We've got, I think we've got maybe one of the commissioners has the program on their TV in the background, so we're getting echo in the room. If they could be conscious of that, maybe turn their audio down at home.
Okay. Commissioner
Nunley, then Commissioner Colson again.
Commissioner Nunley.
Thank you, John, for your report. And I believe Commissioner Colson already seconded Commissioner Albright's motion. I certainly support that second. I did want to ask and follow up, assuming we are able to get a single stream plan implemented in place relatively quickly, kind of dovetailing with Commissioner Colson's question. Have there been any conversations with the municipalities as to their ability or willingness to work with us toward eventually getting a curbside pickup? So we're kind of maybe like a one-off on that single stream method as it applies to the municipalities, really getting it from the household, or is it, have we even gone there yet? Or are we just kind of focusing first on getting the convenience sites up and running?
We wanted to get your input first, is to make sure this was a option you wanted us to pursue. We have met in our reporting to municipalities. We have not talked to them specifically about the glass recycling. We will be, but again, we want to make sure that this is the direction you wanted to go in. And then we would follow up with them in terms of, there was one suggestion out there that maybe the first week of the month they would collect commingles, then the third week of the month they would collect glass. I'm not sure that we would have to have a discussion with the municipalities on that to see what they think the likelihood of success of that would be, compared to just having a dedicated site or convenience sites. And or we've talked about having a site at the Greenville Public Works, if they would host that specifically for glass, to be a single stream entry for this glass product. Otherwise, I think there'll be total confusion with the public as to, am I recycling commingles this week, or am I recycling single items? And part of my fear, our fear, is that once we turn the switch back on to say, oh, we are recycling glass, people in general are just going to say, great, and they're just going to start throwing it back in with the commingled stream. So
So I guess to follow up with that, Scott, I wonder, we've got different colored bins, and I know in the city of Greenville, for instance, a lot of times if you're gonna have curbside pickup, you go pay and you buy your bin, so to speak. Didn't know if it were possible to a different color bin for the glass. So when they're doing doing the lift up, so it's not confusion as much for the end consumer. It's just you just put it in a different box.
Yeah, we've talked about that too, having another bin separate for glass as an option. So that's very viable too.
Just to comment on that, most of your communities that have removed glass from the curbside collection program just offer drop-off collection for glass.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, you have Commissioner Colson, Vice Chairman Colson back up.
Yeah. We have a motion and a second on the floor.
My follow-up question was, since the city is creating the problem, then what are we doing to get the city to fix the problem? I think you kind of hit on it a little bit, but maybe not enough to satisfy the extent of my question, which is, are they doing something, I mean, at their expense, since they're creating a problem, to help fix this problem?
I can't answer that, but let me tell you what we are doing. ECVC is grading loads coming in from not only the convenience sites, but the city of Greenville and all the other municipalities. And we have done it the last 3 months, but some of the data the first 2 months wasn't correct. We did send out some information to the municipalities just Friday on the last month of October, the percentage of contamination. So we're helping ECVC with this, getting the data out to the municipalities, and we are meeting with them on a quarterly basis to try to get them to help educate their folks to let's clean up the recyclables.
And to add to that, I know our largest municipality, Greenville, has done some of their own public education campaign, reaching out to the citizens of the city of Greenville to educate on recycling. Our goal that we set for the municipalities was to have no more than, I believe, 15 to 20% contamination. I will say with our 3 largest municipalities, what we've been seeing is probably 30%-ish, which is unacceptable at this point in time. And I guess worst case scenario, we may come back at some point if we can't get the contamination under control, and maybe to go back the way we did it 15, 20 years ago, and have at the convenience sites, have the bins where you have one bin for cardboard, one bin for glass, one bin for plastic. And when you go there, you separate it out and you put it in the bins. That would help drastically resolve our contamination problem, but it would create a problem for the municipalities who have personnel and trucks and equipment that is dedicated toward picking up a commingled recycling stream. Tim, do you want to add something to that?
Yeah, good morning, commissioners. I just wanted to add, one of the things this does ultimately affects our bottom line as far as the dollars that we have to pay ECVC. As you know, this past year, we had a significant increase from ECVC in the tonnage price that we pay them. And that was almost directly related to the contamination and the markets. But the contamination is a bigger piece. Commissioner Nunley, your comment about adding a different color cart, in theory, yes, that would work great. The concern I have there is we're having a very difficult time just controlling what goes in the blue cart right now. And so that's ultimately what we're trying to get a handle of, is making sure that the items that do go in those blue carts in all the municipalities for waste industries that collects for some of them, as well as those that collect for themselves, is trying to get those contamination rates down so that ultimately it doesn't impact our yearly fee, our solid waste fee, that ultimately is impacted by ECVC's rates. So it's kind of, it's all relates back to that and trying to keep that controllable.
Another option would be, we've talked internally, we can't speak for municipalities and I'm not trying to speak for them, but the possibility of collecting all the blue carts back and then asking people who want to recycle, then reissue the carts back out. I know there personal experience with rental units near ECU where I'm blue in the face trying to get tenants to not put their trash in the recycle bin, but it doesn't help. So maybe you collect all those recycling carts back and then ask people, those who are serious about recycling that want a blue cart, you give them a blue cart. But those who don't ask for it, don't want it, you don't give it to them.
Yeah, and ultimately our goal throughout the rest of this year is to get those percentages from ECVC and see how our educational things that we're doing is working, and then kind of evaluate first of the year as far as what direction we go from there. Obviously, if we made any changes to the curbside recycling, the municipalities would need time to educate and let their folks know how those changes would impact them. So trying to do our homework and make sure that see if we can get the numbers down without having to make any other, any drastic measures as far as curbside goes.
So, Mr. Chairman, we still have, I don't know if Commissioner Colson's hand was up from before, but it's up now, and then Commissioner Floyd Huggins.
Okay, Commissioner Coulter, do you have it?
Unmuted.
Okay, I don't want to belabor this, but you haven't really fully answered my concern. Can the county impose on the cities some kind of a mandate that would require them to meet a certain level of, no more than a certain level of contaminants, and impose some kind of a penalty if they don't? I assure you, if this was flipped and they had such authority, they would impose it on the county. So it would seem to me that if we want to get their attention, if we're able to do that, maybe we ought to consider that.
Yeah, Commissioner Colson, that is part of the evaluation we're doing right now. That is actually one of the items that we've talked about doing as far as a percentage. Basically, municipalities paying for a percentage of their contamination, what it may cost as far as tonnage wise, over a certain percent that's acceptable. So that certainly will be one of the items once we get our full evaluation done on the percentages by the first of the year that we look at. So yes, that is an option that has been considered or is being considered.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Commissioner Floyd Huggins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to agree with Tim in saying that we have a problem with what people put in the blue canisters, because I walk mornings and I see some of those blue canisters and some of the things in there are not recyclable. So I just agree that I think we'll have a problem with bringing glass back, but I think we maybe could work that out with some of the things that the staff may be proposing. So I would just call for the question, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. It has been moving properly. Second, that we have solid waste pursue the grant for the glass recycling. Madam Clerk.
Yes, Chairman McLaughlin,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Colson,
You are unmuted.
Yes.
Commissioner Albright.
Yes. Yeah.
Commissioner Floyd Huggins,
Yes.
Commissioner Nunley,
Yes.
Commissioner Ward,
Yes.
Commissioner White, Commissioner White, Commissioner White, can you hear us?
She may have lost internet. She's on the phone. Okay, maybe she stepped away.
Commissioner Perkins Williams,
No.
Commissioner White. Oh, she just went off. So motion passes 7-1.
Thank you very much. Mr. Manager, your report.
Yes, sir. Just a few things. Next meeting dates. This month, you'll have your regular meeting, third Monday this month, November 16th at 6 p.m. Then the first Monday in December on December 7th at 9 a.m. And obviously, we'll be continuing in the virtual Zoom environment for the meeting format. Item B, just let you know we're planning for a public hearing at your next meeting, November 16th at 6 p.m. This is for a CDB, which is Community Development Block Grant Infrastructure project. This will be I guess you might want to call it the phase 2 of the CASD, the Candlewick Area Sanitary District project. Several years back, we applied for funds for the first phase. It was around $3 million. Those were granted to Pitt County. We were able to put in with partnering with GUC, the pump station, and serve a portion of the households in the Candlewick area. This is the second round of application. On this round, we can apply for up to $2 million. And we've had our consultant out there doing the household income surveys, and we have to determine that there's a certain number that meet a threshold of what they call an LMI, which is a low and moderate income threshold. And we feel like we have a viable application. So we'd like to come before you on the 16th to start that process, officially kick that process to apply for those funds. So we'll include that on the agenda. Item C, just to make you aware, planning department has several applications for needing a quasi judicial hearing format session by the Board of Commissioners, where we'll need to meet like we did at the Ag Center a few meetings back. We will, the clerk will work with the board to establish that. We will have to have all of the commissioners present. We will not be able to have anybody participate virtually because the cases we're dealing with, we could not get all of the people who are standing in the case to sign off agreeable that we would handle this in a virtual environment. The public law requires that we do this in person when that is the case. So we'll be working to get that scheduled in the very near future.
Scott, when you said the very near future, what do you mean? This month, December?
Madam Clerk, do you have any idea on the time, Kimberly, on that? Or just James
I
in
would
here?
defer to Jonas.
Okay, Jonas Hill is saying December. Early first meeting December? Okay, probably December 7th.
Okay, very good.
And I had a hand up for Commissioner Perkins Williams.
Commissioner Williams?
Yes, did we get a heads up the last time we had one of those? We knew at least what it was gonna be on the agenda. Is there a heads up as to what that is?
I don't have the cases. Jonas, do you know those off the top of your head? Solar farm near in Grifton is one of them. We'll get a memo out in the weekly packet to you and give you a heads up on those.
I would appreciate being included in the communications.
Okay. The last item we wanted to recognize, Gary, if you'll come to the podium real quick. I'd like to recognize our deputy, actually Sheriff Dance's deputy, but we call him our deputy too. Gary Watson has been assigned to the county offices and the campuses for how long now, would you say, Gary?
2 years. I guess.
2 years, and you've been with the county almost 20 years, right? Or
21.
more than 21 years. And he's retiring at the end of this month.
Yes, sir.
And I'd like to thank him for his service. He's been our deputy here in the boardroom during this time and provided service on the road and elsewhere in the county to the citizens, and wanted to congratulate him.
Thank you, sir.
Deputy Watson, we want to say to you that on behalf of the Pitt County Board of Commissioners, we appreciate your service, and you have been a tremendous person to work with throughout the time that you've been here, and we appreciate you. Continue your good work, and we wish you the best.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir. Items for consent. Can we have a motion?
Handed by Commissioner Floyd Huggins.
Commissioner Huggins
Commissioner Nunley.
and Commissioner Nunley.
Move to approve the items for consent.
Commissioner Nunley,
Second that, Mr. Chair.
that's been moved and properly second, Madam Clerk.
Chairman McLaughlin,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Colson,
You are unmuted.
Yes.
Commissioner Albright.
Yes. Yeah.
Commissioner Floyd Huggins,
Yes.
Commissioner Nunley, Commissioner Nunley,
Yes.
Commissioner Ward,
Yes.
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, now we have the appointment to the Pitt County Planning Board, Mr. Manager.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, on page 112, you have the appointment you have for District C. Fair Barefoot his term has ended. As you remember, this item came to you, I think it was on September 19th or 24th. It was late September. You had two appointments. You chose to make one appointment. You asked us to advertise further on the second seat. We did that, and since that time, we've had no additional applicants. We have discovered that one of the people that we have in our database, Sheridan Jones, has actually moved out of the county, so he would no longer be eligible to serve. But you do have a few other names in the database that's on, starting on page, looks like 115. Well, Sheridan Jones is 115, but 116. You have a Stephen Lefevers, Jerry Shackelford, and Douglas Killian.
Are you going to be pursuing those names?
So there's no hands up. You can either entertain one of those names, or if you'd like us to advertise further. I don't know how, Jonas, is there a quorum issue with this? He's saying there's not any quorum issues. So if you'd like us to advertise further, we could, or you could consider one of those names this morning.
I would suggest you advertise it further, and since there's no quorum issue, and we can continue it.
Okay.
All right.
We'll do that.
Very good. At this time, we have commissioner's comment. And let me start by saying, please vote if you have not already done so. It is critical important that our health care is on the ballot in this election. Our life, liberty, and the pursuit of justice is on this ballot. A national strategy to end COVID-19 is on the ballot. So it's important and it's critical that we vote in this election. Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Vice Chairman Colson.
You are unmuted.
No comments.
Commissioner Albright. Commissioner Albright.
You still muted.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, I wanted to just simply thank Mrs. Bonnet for bringing the glass recycling issue to our attention and for her engagement in the community on that issue. And I hope we can bring some resolution to it. Thank you.
Huggins.
Yes, thank you. I just want to say to the citizens, remember to go out and vote and also get your flu shots.
Commissioner Nunley.
Vote. That'll be it.
Commissioner Ward.
Vote. That's it. Thank you.
Commissioner White.
No comment.
Commissioner Perkins Williams.
I'd like to say to the citizens of Pitt County, as I strive towards making this a unified county throughout our region as Pitt County, including municipalities and outlying areas. I've heard your comments as it relates to how we consider outlining areas, and I feel your pain and I feel what you have to go to. Most of my comments always try to be inclusive of outlining areas, and I do know that Greenville is not the only municipality in Pitt County. I like to say that sometimes it doesn't seem as if I get all of the communications in a near message, but I do read them when I get them. And I do know that we were supposed to have a good item discussed, and I do not know why it was not there, but I was prepared to wait to hear about it. So I do listen to you. I do hear what you have to say to me. I can only address it as one commissioner. Thank you for your patience, and let's continue to grow and maybe change the poverty levels that exist here in Pitt County. Do your best and I'll do mine to work towards meeting your needs. Thank you. If there's no more, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move that we adjourn.
Okay, there's a motion for adjournment. There's a second.
I second it.
That's been moving properly. Second, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Chairman McLaughlin.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Colson.
You are unmuted.
Yes.
Commissioner Albright.
Yes.
Commissioner Floyd Huggins.
Yes.
Commissioner Nunley.
No.
Commissioner Ward.
Yes.
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins Williams.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Meeting stands adjourned. Have a good day.